There's three building blocks of geometry. Okay? The building blocks of geometry are point, line, and plane. Okay? As far as the definitions for these terms, okay? Points is simply defined as an imaginary element that designates position or location. Okay? Points don't exist anywhere. It's a theoretical term. Okay? A point is illustrated as just a simple dot. Okay? When you look at a point, it's a dot and it's labeled with a capital letter. Okay? And now the reason or the way to think about what the definition of point is basically this dot right here up on the screen or up here on the wall is an illustration of a point. And can I grab that? Is there anything physically here that I can grab and move? No. But it does represent a location, right? If I ask each of you to come up and point to this purple dot, everybody would come and point to this exact spot. Okay, so that's what a point does. It allows you to designate some position or location, even though there's no physical dimension to it, right? Does this have any length, width, or thickness to it? No. It's just a projection, kind of like a projection that illustrates a position or location. So that's what the point is defined as. Okay, it's the most basic element. Okay, everything is built, everything in geometry is built from points. Okay, so if you take and string a set of points in a straight arrangement, you get a line. Okay, so we came back here and we talked points have 0 dimensions. Okay, but if you take a set of points and you string them in a straight arrangement infinitely, so again the line is going to be an infinite set. Okay, so you'll arrange those infinitely in both directions. Okay, you get this concept of line. So now a line has one single dimension. Has length. And in order to identify a straight line or a straight arrangement of points, how many points do you think you need to refer to? If you just have one single point here, A, does that guarantee that this is the line? Is this the only line that will pass through point A? No, you can pass any number of points or any number of lines through that point. What if I pick a second point on here, B? Are there any other lines that you can draw that would pass through point A and B? No, it's going to be the overlaps or would be the same line. So when you're looking at line, you need 2 points to determine a line, and they identify one single dimension. It's a length. Now, again, each of these arrowheads at the end of the line represent that it's going infinitely. So can a line really exist, or is there any way to measure whether a line truly exists in nature? Do we have any way to measure infinity? No. So it's just a theoretical concept that if you string a set of points infinitely in a straight arrangement, you get a line. Okay, finally, if you take a set of lines, so let's say this line, and you copy this line, and you keep placing it on top of the next line. Okay, so if you make this infinite stack of lines, okay, so that they are stacked completely on top of one another, okay, and you extend it infinitely up and down, and remember the lines extend infinitely to both sides, you get what's called a plane. Okay? A plane is going to be a flat surface. that extends infinitely. In all directions. Okay. The plane will generally be represented, so again, it's this stack of lines right here, but if you extend it, it generally is represented as a parallelogram. Even though this parallelogram is an enclosed space, again, you need to be able to think of this in terms of each of these dimensions, the length and the width, extend infinitely. Again, it doesn't actually exist in nature. It's a theoretical concept once again, but it involves two dimensions now. It involves the length of a line. And then because you're stacking these lines infinitely on top and below one another, you also get a second dimension, which is width. Okay, so these are the three building blocks of geometry. Now, because none of these actually exist in nature, they're also referred to as the undefined terms. Okay. This title sometimes confuses people because we just gave them definitions, right? The definitions are in red up there. Okay, but it's like saying and unicorn. If I asked you to sketch a unicorn or to think of a unicorn, you guys all could do that, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. But does a unicorn really exist? No. So point, line, and plane are kind of like that. They have definitions. You know what they are, but they don't really exist. So they are also known as undefined terms of geometry. Okay, as far as the